I'll hand over to our speaker for today. Before he starts, we'd just like to welcome him by very loudly chanting and raising our hands, and then very loudly chanting Haribol 3 times. Can we do that? Everyone raise their hands and 3 times. Haribol! Haribol! Haribol!
Hare Rama Ashtottar Shata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Abhaya Charanaravindha Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Nitya Leela Pravishta Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajaka Varya Ashtottar Shata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की युग धर्म श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की समवेत भक्त वृंद की निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल हरि हरि बोल हरि हरि बोल। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौरांगी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. At the very onset of present day's discourse, I would like to initially offer my most respectfully prostrated obeisances unto the lotus feet of their transcendental lordships, Shri Shri Radha and Gokulanand, along with their perpetual transcendental entourage consisting of Shri Lalita Devi, Shri Vishakha Devi, Shri Ruprati Manjari, etc. And along with them, I would also like to offer my most respectfully prostrated submissive homages unto the lotus feet of their divine lordships, Shri Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Shri Shri Nityananda Prabhu, along with their transcendental associates and companions such as Srila Rupa Goswami, Srila Sanatana Goswami, and all the 6 Goswamis of Shri Dham Vrindavan. Finally, I would also like to pay my obeisances and due honorary respects unto the lotus feet of His Divine Grace, Abhaya Charanaravindha Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, who has very artistically propagated the doctrine of Krishna consciousness throughout this world in this present modern era in the most unique and fantastic and unprecedented way. Conclusively, I would also like to pay my obeisances and due respects unto the lotus feet of the initiating spiritual master, as well as all the preceptoral spiritual masters, along with all the senior Vaishnava devotees of the Lord present herein. And then after, now let us deliberate on the context of the supremacy of devotional service, which is displayed in 5 types of relationships with the Lord. So, as it has been explained in Srimad Bhagavad Gita, 18th chapter, text number 54, Brahma bhutah prasannatma na shochati na kankshati samaha sarveshu bhuteshu madbhaktim labhate param. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, the blessed Lord Shri Krishna, imparted his instructions to Arjuna at the time of winding up his transcendental sermons to his disciple Arjuna. These are the last instructions that Shri Krishna is giving to Shri Arjuna by saying that, O Arjuna, when a person reaches or obtains the transcendental stage or condition of being Brahma Bhuta. Brahma Bhuta means when he becomes self-realized or when he attains that transcendental position of the Brahman platform. Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma. And that transcendental position has also been sometimes considered in Srimad Bhagavad Gita as being the Sthita Pragya condition. In the 2nd chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Lord Shri Krishna describes the same Brahma Bhuta platform that he is denoting in the 18th chapter as being the Sthita Pragya condition. Sthita Pragya condition means that the living entity who has become self-realized, his pragya, his intelligence becomes firmly stable in the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead. That is known as Sthita Pragya condition, as opposed and as contradictory and as reverse to the position of intelligence being divided into many different offshoots. Lord Shri Krishna describes that those who are sakamakarmis, those who are fruitive-minded actors, those who are performing activities which are only aimed at seeking rewards in return, and those rewards which in turn manifest themselves in the form of material sensual gratification. So their intelligence is not only bewildered, but their intelligence is unstable due to its having been divided into thousands and thousands of sub-branches. Therefore, Krishna says in the 2nd chapter of Bhagavad Gita that vyavasayatmika buddhihi ekeha karunandana buddhayo avyavasayina, that the intelligence of those who are fruitive-minded, who are always performing sakama karma, their intelligence is bewildered because it is divided into thousands of offshoots, and their intelligence is therefore unstable. But that person who is rather sthita pragya, whose intelligence is stable and undivided, only has firm faith in the path of devotional service. Therefore, Krishna again says at the end of the 14th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Mam chayo avyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunam samatityaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. That person who worships me through the path of unflinching devotional service, which is completely exclusive, one-pointed, stable and steadfast in its performance. When that person performs that sort of unflinching devotional service, avyabhichareni bhakti, then gradually he obtains the platform that is transcendental to the 3 modes of material nature, sagunan samatityaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate, and he becomes eligible to obtain the stage of the Brahman realization, brahma bhuyaya kalpate. So again, this Brahma Bhuyaya, the word Brahma Bhuyaya which has been utilized by the Lord at the end of the 14th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, refers to the same Sthita Pragya condition of Bhakti Yogi, which is mentioned at the end of the 2nd chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and that also refers to the same word that Krishna has imparted in this present verse, which is the 54th verse of the 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Brahma Bhuta. This Brahmabhuta word used by Krishna here in the 18th chapter refers to the same Brahmabhuyaya and to the same Sthita Prajna condition mentioned in the 2nd and in the 14th chapters of Bhagavad Gita. And this Brahmabhuta word also refers to the statement of Lord Shri Krishna spoken in the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, which is known as King of all knowledge, the King of all confidential knowledge, Raja Vidya Rajabhyam, Pavitramidam Uttamam. Lord Krishna has described the King of all knowledge unto his dear disciple and friend Arjun. So at that time in the 9th chapter, Lord Shri Krishna says that Mama Sadharmyam Agataha. When the living entity comes to know of this King of knowledge, when he becomes quite cognizant of this King of knowledge, and this King of knowledge is none other than the science of devotional service. He clarifies, Krishna clarifies, that this Rajavidya and this Rajguhyam that I am talking about is none other than the science of the performance of devotional service, Bhakti Yoga Vigyan. So Krishna says in the 9th chapter that when one becomes completely cognizant and well versed in the matter of the discharge of devotional service, then that person becomes, after becoming self-realized, after becoming transcendental to the 3 modes of material nature, Sattva, Raja and Tam, he comes to the same level as mine. Mama Sadharmya Magata. The word Sadharmya has been used by Shri Krishna. Sadharmya means that that living entity comes to the same transcendental position, almost same transcendental position that I am possessing. Living entity can never come to the exactly the same transcendental position as the Lord, because if that would happen, then the injunction of the Vedas, the injunction, there is an injunction found in the Vedas which states that Ekam Advitiyam Brahma na Dvitiyosti Kaschit, that the supreme absolute truth, Param Brahma, is only one and no and not two, not dual. Ekam Advitiyam Brahma na Dvitiyo Asti Kaschit. Therefore, it can never happen that the living entities will be excelling the Lord or will be equaling the Lord by having exactly the same position. That can never happen. Therefore, when Krishna says Mama Sadharmya Magataha, it means that the living entities have they have this eligibility of acquiring almost similar position to the Lord. So almost similar position means that just as the Lord is transcendental to the 3 modes of material nature, the Lord doesn't become controlled by the 3 modes of material nature. In the same way, that liberated, that self-realized, that Brahmabhuta living entity who has acquired the transcendental Brahman platform, that living entity also becomes transcendental to the 3 modes of material nature. Therefore, it is declared in the Shvetashvatara Upanishad that Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam Eko Bahunam Yo Vidadhati Kamam, that the living entities are innumerable, and all those innumerable living entities or conditioned living entities or souls, Jivatmas, they are Nitya means eternal. All the living entities are eternal. That means they have no beginning and no end. Their existence is completely perpetual. And at the same time, those living entities are full of consciousness, full of knowledge. So Nitya and Chetan, Jivatma or living entity or spirit soul is Nitya and Chetan. He is completely full of consciousness and he is eternal. His existence is eternal, perpetual. So therefore, it is declared in the Shvetashvatara Upanishad, Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam Ego Bahunam Yo Vidadhati Kaman, that all the living entities, generally speaking, are eternal and full of consciousness, but among them there is one chief living entity, there is one chief living object, there is one chief living being, and that chief living being, who is none other than the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna. That chief living entity is the topmost among all the conscious and among all the other eternal living beings found in this world. Therefore, we can understand from this statement of the Shvetashvatara Upanishad found in the Vedas that all the living entities, they have this eligibility that after the discharge, that after the performance, that after the execution and the accomplishment of the devotional service, they can come to almost same level as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but they can never come to the exact same level. If that were to happen, then this shloka, this mantra, this verse of Shvetashvatara Upanishad would turn completely false and would turn into a complete lie. Shvetashvatara Upanishad says that among all the living entities, no matter how exalted they are, among all the different types of manifold living entities found in this verse, in this world, only one living entity, and that is that Supreme Brahman Shri Krishna is the chief and is the most exalted, being par excellent. Therefore, Mama Sadharmyam Agataha means when Krishna says that the living entities acquire, that means that the living entities acquire almost same nature to the Lord, but not exactly the same nature. But now that Brahma Bhuta stage, which is so which is so much highly situated and transcendental to this material world, that Brahma Bhuta stage is characterized by what symptoms? So Krishna describes in this 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Brahma Bhutaha prasannatma na shochati na kamshati. That aforementioned Brahma Bhuta stage, which Krishna talks about in many different chapters of Bhagavad Gita. In 9th chapter as Manasadharmyam Agataha, in 2nd chapter as Sthita Prajna, in 14th chapter as Sagunan Samatitya Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate. That same Brahma Bhuta situation is again being pondered upon, is again being deliberated upon by Shri Krishna in this present context. So Shri Krishna says that Brahma Bhuta condition has many different symptoms. When a living entity acquires that transcendental platform of Brahman, at that time he becomes his inner consciousness becomes completely devoid of all sorts of mundane, melancholy, sadness and remorseful conditions. Prasannatma. And therefore the living entity who has acquired such Brahman platform always remains happy, always rejoices within. He might not appear to be very much jubilant, externally speaking, but inward within his heart, within his mind, inward within his consciousness, he always remains rejoiceful and always remains blissful and happy, having acquired that transcendental position of Brahman. Brahma Bhuta prasannatma na shochati na kamshati. And the reason why that living entity remains always rejoiceful is because he never laments after any object of this material world. Any object that he used to possess, but that now has been destroyed, or that which has now been taken away from his possession due to various reasons. He never hankers, he never laments after that object which he used to possess, but which now he doesn't possess. Na shochati, na kamshati. And he never hankers or desires after any object which is completely new to him, which he used to never possess, and he never wants to possess any material object in future also. So, for any unacquired object, he doesn't express any desire of its acquirement. And for any object which he used to possess, but which he is now possessing, he doesn't lament for that. Na shochati, na kamshati. Why? Because samah sarveshu bhuteshu, because that yogi, because that bhakti yogi, that living entity who has acquired this transcendental position, he has become his equal, his vision has become completely equal in all living entities. He sees all living entities, all jivatmas of this world with an equal vision. Samah sarveshu bhuteshu. And that same thing has been again highlighted in the 5th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, when Krishna says, Vidya vinaya sampanne brahmane gavihastini shuddhaiva shvapake cha panditaha samadarshinaha. That person is truly considered pandita, or truly considered a scholar, or a person having factual knowledge, who sees with an equal vision an elephant, a monk, sannyasi, a brahmana, a dog eater, and a cow. That means all different types of living entities, whether they are found on the platform of mode of ignorance, passion, goodness, or transcendental platform. That pandita, that person who has become factually knowledgeful, he sees all of them with an equal vision. Why? Because he thinks that in all the living entities, my transcendental Lord, Shri Krishna, is situated as his localized portion in the form of super soul, Paramatma, as Kshirodakshai Vishnu. So because that liberated person, Brahma Bhuta, a living entity who has acquired the Brahma Bhuta platform, he sees all the other living entities of this material world as the resting place. He sees the hearts of all the other Jivatmas as resting place and as abode of the Super Soul Kshirodakshai Vishnu. Therefore, he sees all of them with an equal vision. Sama sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labhate param. And after that he has attained such Brahma Bhuta platform, then he becomes eligible to attain the Prema Bhakti, which is the most exalted form of Bhakti. Mad bhaktim labhate param. That Prema Bhakti which is pertaining to me. Krishna says, Mad bhaktim labhate param. That living entity who has become thus liberated, then he becomes eligible to attain that Prema Bhakti. So, here our acharyas have commented that if that living entity who has attained the Brahma Bhuta platform, if he doesn't come into the association of Shuddha Mahabhagavatas, of pure devotees of the Lord, then he will not get a chance to come to the platform of obtaining Prema Bhakti. He has, if he comes into the contact and association of the Mahabhagavatas, of pure devotees of the Lord, then he can immediately acquire the stage of Prema Bhakti without the need of the performance of Sadhan Bhakti. But if he doesn't come into the contact with the pure devotees of the Lord, then he cannot obtain the Para Bhakti or the Prema Bhakti or the Krishna Prem, the transcendental unalloyed love for the lotus feet of the Lord. So, in the very next verse, this is the 54th verse of the 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, in the very next verse, the succeeding verse, that means the 55th shloka of the same 18th chapter, Shri Krishna again says that Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavan yaschasmi tatvatah tato mam tatvatah kyatva vishate tadanantaram. That only through the path of pure devotion, Bhaktya, can a person can a person factually come to understand the real significance of my glories. Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavan yaschasmi tatvatah. Tatvatah means a person can factually. Tatvatah means factually. Abhijanati means come to understand. A person can only factually come to understand the significance of my transcendental glories, the greatness and the significance of my transcendental glories only through the path of devotional service. Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavan yaschasmi tatvatah tato mam tatvatah gyatva vishate tadanantaram. And after thus being quite well acquainted with my true nature, tato mam tatvatah gyatva vishate tadanantaram, that devotee who has become perfect on the path of devotional service, he becomes eligible to enter into my transcendental abode of Vaikuntha or Golok Vrindavan Dham, and thus he is able to participate in the transcendental pastimes of mine, having acquired the transcendental body of my associate. He becomes eligible to thus participate in my pastimes for the time, for the incessant time to come. So, Shri Krishna stresses and highlights the significance of devotional service at the end of the 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So we can understand that also in the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, it has also been described, Na sadhayati mam yogo jnanam dharmam cha uddhava na swadhyayas tapaskyago yatha bhaktir mamorjita. Na sadhayati mam yogo. Shri Krishna tells to his dear friend and devotee Uddhav that, O Uddhav, through the path of the eightfold mystic process known as Ashtanga Yoga, through that eightfold mystic system of Ashtanga Yoga, a person can never factually come to understand me in truth. Na sadhayati mam yoga. I am not obtainable. I am not to be acquired. I am not to be acquired and I am not to be attained through the path of Ashtanga Yoga. Na sadhayati mam yoga. Jnana, and I am also not to be obtained through the path of mental speculation leading to the knowledge of monism or the monistic knowledge. Through the path of monistic knowledge, the path that the jnanis are very much fond of undertaking as a means of self-realization, that path of jnana marg, that path of mental speculation leading to monistic knowledge, leading to the concept that the living entity is completely one with the Supreme Absolute Truth. That path of monism, that Jnana also cannot, also doesn't have the capacity and doesn't have the power to grant factual knowledge regarding my identity to its practitioner. So the Jnana, the path of monistic knowledge, doesn't have any power whatsoever to make its practitioner well acquainted with my factual nature and true identity. Na sadhayati mam yogo jnanam dharmam cha uddhava. And oh Uddhav, not only that, also the path of varnashrama dharma, and also the path of sakam and nishkam karma. Dharma means all those different types of rituals, ritualistic activities, and all those different forms of charity, sacrifices, penances, vows, yajna, dan, vrat, tapasya, etc., which have been mentioned in different parts of Vedic literatures. All those activities which are generally known as smarta karma, which are generally known as nitya and naimittika karma, eternal, so-called eternal and so-called occasional duties, nitya and naimittika karma, smarta karma, which are all mentioned in different types of dharma shastras and different types of smritis, and also in the Vedas. All those different types of ritualistic activities, along with the performance of the varnashrama dharma, or the prescribed duties according to one's varna and ashram. All these different types of mundane activities or karma, whether they are performed unmotivatingly or whether they are performed motivatingly, either as sakam karma or as nishkam karma yoga, they have no power whatsoever, they have no capacity to make that practitioner well acquainted with my true nature and identity. So, dharmam cha uddhava, na swadhyaya tapaha tyago, and also the study of the Vedas, and the study, the empiric study, which is full of erudition, the empiric study undertaken by an arrogant pedant who wants to know the absolute truth through the power of scriptural knowledge. That person who doesn't rely upon the mercy and compassion of the Lord in order to realize Him, but who thinks that by his own power, by his own faculty of sharp mundane intellect, he can know the factual nature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. By such empiric pedant who is very much confident of his own power of mundane intellect and intelligence, if he undertakes the study of the Vedas, Swadhyaya, then he can also not understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because it has been declared in Shvetashvata Upanishad that Nayam Atma Pravachanena Labhyo Navedaya Bahuna Shrutena Yame Vaisha Vrenute Tena Labhyaha Tasya Isha Atma Vivrenute Tanum Swam. That this Paramatma means that this Supreme Godhead Shri Krishna, he is not obtainable by giving elaborate discourses which are full of intellectual scholarship and which are devoid of the internal sentiment of devotion. Nayam Atma Pravachanena Labhyo, by giving big pravachanas which are only imbued with mundane scholarship and the arrogance which is thus arising from mundane scholarship and which is completely devoid of all sorts of devotional moods to serve the Lord. By those discourses also the Lord is never attained, because as Kunti Maharani says in the 8th chapter of the first canto of Bhagavatam, Janamaishwarya Shruta Shrivir Edaman Madhapaman Naivar Hakya Vedatum Vaitwam Akinchana Gocharam. Oh Lord, you are the master of those who are Akinchan. You are actually only obtainable by those who are materially possessing nothing. Or even if they are materially possessing so many things, they are not possessing the ego or the pride or the arrogance arising from those material possessions. Akinchan. Those who are Akinchan means those who are devoid of all sorts of attachments and pride arising from the association with material opulences. Only by those Akinchanas, only by those humble, submissive and meek devotees are you attained. Therefore, Kunti Maharani says that those who are very much proud of their high birth, and those who are very much proud of their mundane erudition or education, very exalted mundane education, those who are very much proud of being opulent in a mundane way, who are very much proud